China has done what the world only dared to whisper about for years. It tore the mask off the luxury industry, and it did it from the inside out. For months, the internet has been burning like wildfire. Video after video began surfacing from deep inside Chinese factories, places so private, so tightly sealed, that no outsider had ever seen what went on inside. At first glance, these clips looked harmless. Just workers in uniforms, machines humming, rolls of fabric stacked in neat towers. Nothing unusual until you watched closer. Because soon, the truth began to unfold. Slowly, then all at once. These weren't ordinary factory videos. They were behind-the-scenes footage revealing luxury-style handbags, shoes, and leggings being stitched and shaped in the same rooms that supplied the world's most famous brands. Louis Vuitton, Lululemon, Chanel, Adidas. But here's where it turns shocking. Instead of ending up in those glossy boutiques with glowing glass shelves and golden lettered logos, these same products were being sold straight to consumers online for just a fraction of the price. One viral video changed everything. In it, a factory worker held up a sleek pair of leggings. She smiled softly and said, "This design? It's the same one we make for Lululemon. Same stitching, same fabric. But this pair? Only $8." The camera zoomed in. You could see it clearly. Identical seams, identical texture, identical quality. The Lululemon version, $98. The factory version, just $8. The internet lost its mind. Another clip showed workers handling soft, quilted leather handbags, the kind that look exactly like Chanel's iconic classics. They were being made for around $40 each. And yet those same designs, once they bore the famous logo, sold in luxury boutiques for over $5,000. That's when the question began to echo across social media. Was everything we believed about luxury a lie? Even if those factories weren't the official suppliers, the message was too loud, too sharp, too real to ignore. People everywhere realized they had been massively overpaying for items that were, in truth, mass-produced. And just like that, China had pulled the curtain back on one of the world's most powerful illusions, because the truth was brutal. The cost of luxury doesn't come from rare materials or divine craftsmanship. It comes from the middlemen. That $40 bag doesn't magically become $5,000 on its own. It travels through a maze. Exporters, importers, distributors, retailers, glamorous showrooms, celebrity endorsements. Each one adding their markup, each one feeding the myth, until a simple product becomes a status symbol. The product doesn't change, only the story does. China's revelation didn't just bend the rules, it broke the spell. The spell that had made millions believe luxury automatically meant quality, that a logo meant superiority, that a name meant worth. When those videos hit the web, the illusion cracked wide open. Luxury brands struck back, fast. Lululemon, Adidas, and others rushed to post official statements. They insisted their products were sold only through authorized sellers. They said any resemblance was coincidence, that the factories in question were not theirs. But the damage was already done, because even if those exact factories weren't officially tied to them, they were still using the same machines, the same materials, and in many cases, the same workers. And once consumers had seen that, they couldn't unsee it. The logic no longer made sense. The price gap was too wide, too exposed, too undeniable. And this scandal didn't strike during calm times. It landed in a storm. In the United States, inflation was squeezing families dry. Groceries, rent, gas, everything cost more. In China, the economy was slowing. Factories were struggling. And in between, a fierce trade war raged on. Tariffs climbed as high as 100%, forcing brands to push their prices even higher just to protect profits. A $500 designer handbag suddenly became $800. Not because it improved, but because of taxes and tactics. Ironically, those rising prices didn't scare customers away. They pushed them straight into the arms of the alternatives. People began exploring factory direct websites like Tu and DHgate. Digital marketplaces selling nearly identical designs for a fraction of the cost. No branding, no fancy marketing, just the product, pure and simple. And for a generation crushed by student loans, credit card debt, and endless rising costs, that message hit hard. You don't have to overpay to look good. Suddenly, everyone was asking the same haunting question: if a $5 item can pass for a $500 one, then what are we really buying? The answer was cold and sharp. We're not buying quality. We're buying a logo, a story, an illusion. Because the truth is, most luxury buyers aren't the ultra-rich. They're dreamers. Everyday people who save for months just to hold a symbol of success in their hands. But once they learned that their $2,000 bag might have cost less than $60 to make, and that the person who sewed it earned only a few dollars for their labor, that dream began to feel like betrayal. Even resale platforms like The Real and StockX, once symbols of authenticity, are now under scrutiny. If the real cost of these goods is so small, what is the true value of luxury anymore? Resellers started struggling. Buyers hesitated. And the foundation of the entire luxury empire began to tremble. But this story isn't just about money. It's about morality. Luxury brands have hidden more than their prices. They've hidden their labor conditions, their outsourcing secrets, their environmental costs. While CEOs collect million-dollar bonuses, factory workers earn less than the cost of a single meal. China's viral videos ripped that truth into the open, and the world could no longer look away, because once you realize that luxury doesn't live in the product, but in the markup and the marketing, everything changes. You start to ask questions you never dared to before. Who am I really paying for? And for the first time in decades, consumers are demanding answers. But don't mistake it. Luxury won't disappear. People will always crave beauty, art, and design. But what's changing is why we buy them. The new definition of luxury isn't about showing off. It's about knowing the story behind what you wear, knowing the hands that made it, knowing the truth behind its cost. The next generation won't chase logos, they'll chase honesty. They'll value transparency over exclusivity, principle over performance. Because maybe the most luxurious thing in the future won't be a $10,000 handbag at all, but peace of mind, peace of knowing your purchase wasn't built on illusion. Peace of knowing you didn't overpay to impress strangers. Peace of knowing you supported something real. Now, luxury brands stand at a crossroads. Two paths lie ahead. They can double down, keep the dream alive with celebrity ads, glittering storefronts, and hollow promises, or they can evolve. They can open their books, reveal their truth, and finally prove why their prices are worth it. They can stop treating customers as targets and start treating them as partners. Partners in transparency, because today's buyers aren't naive anymore. They scroll, they compare, they know. And if brands keep hiding behind their shiny walls of illusion, consumers will simply walk right past them, straight to the factories that dared to tell the truth the luxury world never wanted them to hear.